Welcome to Navigating IBD with Stephanie A. Wynn, where she tackles the real challenges of living with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Whether you're newly diagnosed, supporting someone with IBD, or looking for better ways to manage your care, this is your space for honest conversation, practical guidance, and community. This podcast exists to change the narrative, one story, one strategy, and one breakthrough at a time. So join Stephanie as she navigates IBD together with you. Y'all ready? Let's get started.
I was confused about my health. I was embarrassed. And honestly, I didn't understand what my body was trying to tell me. I told myself it was a lifestyle. Stress, something minor, anything but something serious. If you ever felt lost when it comes to your health, if you've ever minimized your symptoms, or if you've ever felt embarrassed to speak up, this episode is for you. I'm your host, Stephanie A. Wynn, and I'm super excited for this episode of Navigating IBD. We're going to get right into it. I'm super excited. If you know someone who's living with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, share this episode. Let's get right into it. Looking back, the signs were always there. From my teenage years, I struggled with chronic constipation. At the time, I was told to add more fiber. That sounded simple enough, so I didn't question it. I didn't push. I didn't ask more questions. What I didn't realize then was that my body was trying to warn me. As I got older, life became more complex. I was thriving in my career. I was raising my 2 sons. Then came the joy and the heartbreak of pregnancy. I was expecting 2 daughters, different times. Each pregnancy was filled with hope and dreams, and both ended in loss. Losing my daughters was devastating. It tested my faith. It pushed me into a level of grief that touched every part of my life. Stress, unresolved grief has a way of showing up in the body. But here's the turning point, friends and family. Over time, my symptoms worsened. Pain, bleeding, urgency to go to the bathroom. Things I had learned to ignore became impossible to dismiss. Denial is powerful. I told myself it wasn't that serious. I convinced myself I could push through it because that's what I had always done. After countless doctor's visits and a series of misdiagnoses, I finally heard the words that changed everything. It's Crohn's disease. That diagnosis, I don't know about you, but that hit really hard. I felt angry. I felt afraid. I felt confused. All I remember is saying, why me? What is this? Why did it take so long? Why didn't I listen to my body sooner? Started blaming myself, right? If you had only did this, if I had only did that, right? And looking back, I can clearly see how much denial played a role in my journey. And if I could sit across from the woman I was back then, or anyone listening right now, there are 3 things I would share. Not as a doctor, not as an expert, but as someone who has lived this. And these 3 simple tips are for anyone navigating IBD or a chronic illness. Here's tip number 1. Listen to your body. Even when the symptoms feel small. If something keeps happening in your body, it's not random. Pain is information. Bleeding is information. Changes in your digestions are information. Because you're busy, and I know there's a lot of people listening to this that are busy, and you're having symptoms, and you feel like that's not of importance, because your busyness is more important than your health. You got to take control over this. You got to pay attention to your body. Small signs ignored over time can become a major disruption later. Your body speaks long before it screams. So you got to listen early. You got to get so in tune with your body that you're not so busy that you're not paying attention. Some of us are just living life. We're lifing. We're going to work. We're taking care of the kids. We got to put food on the table. We got to do this. We got to do that. You're going over here. You're over there. And you have to stop and pay attention to your body. You have to listen early. Tip number 2, do not suffer in silence. Tell the whole truth. There were times I didn't tell the full story in my journey. Sometimes it was embarrassment. Sometimes it was fear. And sometimes I didn't want to seem dramatic. But silence can delay diagnosis. And silence can delay the healing process. Be honest with your providers. For my patients out there, you got to be honest with your providers. And I know sometimes culturally, in certain cultures, specifically in the Black culture and the brown culture, we are taught early on that some things you don't talk about. Some things stay inside of the household. You don't discuss what's going on. You keep that to yourself. Or you go to your grave with it. I've heard that many times in my family. Or you just go to the grave with that. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. You can go to your grave with inflammatory bowel disease if you don't get it under control. It definitely will send you there. And I'm just saying, write your symptoms down. Speak up even when it feels uncomfortable. Technology has evolved, friends and family. It has evolved. So if you have a question to ask your provider or your healthcare team, type it out on the portal. You can send a message on the portal and they'll get back to you. As simple as that. But you deserve to be heard. Tip number 3, there is space for grief. Pain doesn't mean defeat, but refusing to face the truth can keep you from healing. It's okay to cry, but do not stay there. So hear me out, friends and family. If you're listening right now and you're suffering in silence, I want you to know this. You are not weak. You are not broken. And you are not alone. You see, I wrote Navigating IBD not because just to put my name on the front of a book, but to help patients. You see, navigating inflammatory bowel disease, whether it's Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, there was no blueprint when I was misdiagnosed 6 different times. Had I had navigating IBD, and I was diagnosed the right time, the first time, not 5 times. Some of the things that I went through, I should have avoided. We could have caught it early on. I may have been able to avoid the biologic treatments, the therapies, right? But it was for such a time as this for me to tell those who are going through this very thing. If you're newly diagnosed, your story matters. Your voice matters. And your health matters. Does that make sense? You do not have to suffer in silence. Cry it out, but don't stay there. Cry it out, but do not stay there. I am your host, Stephanie A. Wynn. Until next time, peace. Thanks for listening to Navigating IBD with Stephanie Wynn. If you're ready to take the next step in managing your IBD, grab a copy of Navigating IBD, a 6-week blueprint for better gut health at navigatingibd.com. It's filled with practical strategies to help you understand your symptoms, manage your flares, and advocate for the care you deserve. Until next time, keep trusting your body and moving forward. Peace.